we're doing the little Saturday dance, I guess.
Saturday afternoon dance-off, folks.
Oh, there you go. Well, all right. So we had a funny story that we wanted to share with you all. And you want to start off?
All right, so
you're going to laugh.
This is really, it's classic. And it's classic in this house. And it's probably classic in your house. But here's the thing. Jennifer, as most of you know, is a copywriter. She's a social media trainer. She's a speaker. She helps people with their content. She is all about content. She's written thousands upon thousands of blog posts. Like, creating content is not hard for her, right? Okay. So
you gotta preface that with like, here's the content coach and
right.
What happens.
So last week before last now, whenever it was, Jen comes in and she says, "Oh, yay, I just got asked to be on somebody's podcast. Oh, that's great, honey. Another one for the week," you know, because she's like Miss Podcast these days. So, great. She goes, "Yeah, so they want me to send them, like, you know, 5 questions or so of what they can ask me." I said, "Oh, you mean like how they do like radio interviews, television interviews, how there's always the cheat sheet so everybody kind of knows the questions, knows the answers, so you can have a nice fluid conversation that seems natural, but it's almost rehearsed because that's how it all gets done?" She says, yeah, that, okay. Great. And she says, "But what should I have him ask me?"
Can you believe that?
Are you freaking kidding me? But she was serious. It wasn't a joke.
No, I was totally having this moment of, and it'd been like 24 hours at this point too. I'm like, I don't know what I should have him ask me.
Mind you, this is after we just had lunch. And at lunch, we were talking about creating value for yourself. And like, Jen, you have a degree in journalism. There, you know, you always say, just people say, "I can write my own website. You know, I have a degree in English." Great. Degree in English does not make you a good website copywriter.
Oh, right, because we just had this whole conversation about, like, you know, why people work with, you know, hire someone, even if you have some confidence in what you can do, is always good to have someone else who does this full time, do whatever it is, right? And, you know, of course, we always talk about the 5x5 method. If you've been following us for any length of time, you've heard us talk about that. We'll think of 5 questions. You would have someone ask you, and then it just like all gone out of my head.
So after we laughed, because we both realized how ridiculous this whole thing was.
Totally ridiculous.
I said, "Okay, so here." So I ramble off like 5 questions, and like instantly.
I know, and I was like, "Oh, those are good. Here, let me make notes." I'm making notes on my phone.
So she grabbed her phone and she's like, "What was the second one?" "Baby, I don't know what the second one was. I just said stuff. Come on, this is stuff we talk about every day. You know, it's in your sleep you're talking about it. I wish they'd ask me how." Because but it was so funny, but then you realize everybody does it.
Right.
Everybody in their business doesn't do what they really know how to do sometimes. It's like, it's the analysis paralysis, it's a fear of perfectionism, it's whatever acronym you want to give to it. People don't do what they're really good at helping others do. So, next time you ask Jen to be on your podcast, you want to interview her or something, instead of doing that, ask her what are 5 questions or something first, and then say, "Oh, by the way, would you like to be on my podcast? I'm going to ask you these same questions." You have to do like the reverse psychology on her, because otherwise it's like, I just don't know what to say. And it wasn't that she was like, "I don't know what to say." It was like, how am I going to do this? What am I going to do? What are they going to ask me? What should they ask me? I don't know.
It was the what should. It was like the shoulds get in the way, right? Because I was like, what do I really want her to ask? Like, what do I really, you know, kind of coalescing everything. What do I really want? What message do I really want to get across? It was just funny. It's the
overthinking it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The forest for the trees syndrome, which I talk about all the time.
The classic is, I'm the video guy.
Yeah.
You know who's done more videos? Right. You know why? Because I look at it, like I'm looking at the screen right now, I'm going, "Oh, that shadow, really wish that wasn't in." Because I am so used to looking at it from a different perspective that I don't do it myself. I don't think about it myself.
Right. And
we had this discussion the other day about a different topic that you'll be hearing about coming up sometime in the future. But Jen's like, "How come you don't do more videos?" And you know what my answer is, which is really kind of lame, is I get up in the morning and I put on my sweatshirt, which is some big fleecy thing because we live in Pennsylvania. It's really freaking cold here. And in the winter, I have this big fleecy solid blob thing on. And I don't want to do a video on that big blob thing. So then I go upstairs and take a shower, and I put on a different blob thing because it's still cold outside. And I forget that I should go do a video, and I forget that, don't forget. I look at what I'm wearing and go, I'm not, I gotta go all the way upstairs.
All the way upstairs.
Change clothes. All the way back downstairs. 2 flights. That's a lousy excuse to not do videos.
Yeah, that's a pretty lousy excuse.
But when I think about it, that's the reason.
Right.
It's not that I'm scared to be on camera. I don't care for myself on camera, but I'm not scared to be on camera. I've spoken in a room to 1,000 people. Those things aren't. That's not it. It's because I live in Pennsylvania and it's cold and I have big blobby clothes.
We're depressed in the winter. I think it's sad, the seasonal affective disorder.
Yeah.
We don't go out, but that's a whole different topic.
That's a whole other topic. But the bottom line is that I don't do videos for my reason, which is...
He also doesn't think about what he wants to talk about. Because I'm always saying, oh, you should do a video on that. That'd be really great. And he's like, oh, that would be a good one, wouldn't it? Yeah,
I'm too close to the subject. I don't think about it. And that's what happened to her the other day. What 5 questions? Really, Jen?
Yeah.
Here's one. Just because you have a journalism degree does not qualify you to write your web copy. Let's see, what's another one? Oh, how about how to write a content calendar and what that means? Oh, I'm sorry, you've got 10 different versions and PDFs of that alone. There are 4 on the floor right now to be thrown away and 6 on the walls because it's just so funny that it happens to all of us.
And you're just too close to the source. So think about that when you start thinking about whether you're thinking about doing Facebook Lives or pre-recorded videos or writing a blog post. It's like, so this is really, really good to go get that outside perspective from somebody who's not in your head. And say, what do you not know about my business that would be of interest to you? Or let's just have a conversation about my business for 5-10 minutes and let them ask you questions. That is really valuable, actually.
Yeah, I mean, so we had a meeting with someone the other night, a mutual client, and she's like, well, I don't know what I can say for my business. And it's like, oh, really? And so we instantly, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, we're kind of
It wasn't that hard to come up, and she's like, oh, yeah, I guess I never thought about it like that. Because when you're doing it, you don't think about it like that. The accountants don't think about the things they do. A mortgage broker doesn't think about all the things that they know that other people don't know, or how you make it easier for people to understand when they come to see you how simple this is really going to be. So, yeah, Jen.
I had one of those moments of, I don't know what I wanted to say. So think about that in your own business, because we all have that process. We get in our own way with that. So it's really helpful to talk to somebody else that's outside of your business, a little farther afield, and find out what they don't know.
And if you have kids, sometime ask your kids.
What do they think you do?
What does Daddy do? And my kids, they're 18 and 20, and they still don't know what I do. But they have a good answer.
Well, whether or not it has absolutely anything to do with what you
Does
do.
it? Right, I didn't say it did, but it's a very good answer. It's an entertaining answer.
Okay.
But they really don't know the details of it. But when you listen to what they say, because they're here all the time, they hear us, they hear our conversations, they see us work. They go. One of them has gone with me to work on several occasions. She still really doesn't know.
Right. Because you're on the inside, and those who are looking in don't understand it. So think of it from that perspective if you can. If you can drop into the comments below if you watch this replay, what's one thing that was like sort of a aha moment for you that when you were talking about it with someone else, they said, oh, well, I didn't know you did that. Or, or you realized there was some unique piece of the process that you do that makes you different from other people. I mean, if you want to share that in the comments, that's always fun. And if you don't, say, well, I don't know what questions I would have someone ask me on a podcast. That's useful too. So you can drop that in the comments below and say, I don't know what 5 questions I would have someone ask me in the on a podcast.
Yeah.
So start thinking about that.
I'd be curious to see what questions if you want a podcast, would you want them to ask you if you're watching this? Because I know some of you out there are doing podcasts and are not only have your own podcast, but are also guests on podcasts. Mm-hmm. So what are those key ingredients? And those key ingredients can change podcast by podcast,
Right, because it's about the audience.
It's about the audience that's expected. You're doing a podcast for some kind of an outcome, right? Whether it doesn't matter what that outcome is. There's so many choices of outcomes. But when you do that, you're always thinking about who's the audience. What is it I want that audience to know about me?
Right.
Because when you're at your kid's soccer game, you have a different audience of the parents you're talking to than when you're at the bake sale, when you're doing something for the prom. There's these different audiences, different age groups, different demographics, different purposes behind your interaction with people.
Right.
So, if you really want to know what Jen came up with for the 5 questions, or what Rick came up with for the 5 questions, ask her.
Yeah, you can ask me. I'll have to go double check my notes.
All right.
Okay, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you soon. Here we are with another episode of, I don't know, messaging and good stuff like that. And getting out of your own way. Getting out of your own way, because that's what we're doing. So I'm actually going to be doing a series of interviews where we're going to be talking a lot more about that in the coming weeks. So see you soon.